and welcome into room 442. Sarah Pararia joined by James Sharman. And we've been in an international break, James, and we know they're usually quite grim for us. We are waiting for the Prem, La Liga, Serie A, all the leagues to get back. But this international break has actually been quite entertaining because of the stories that have come out of it. Not necessarily the football, maybe some of the football, but also some of the records that are being broken. So I decided to look at maybe what are some of the biggest stories, as you can see behind us here. We have Kylian Mbappe getting the French captaincy. Ronaldo extends international goal record with 122 goals for Portugal. Kazakhstan beats Denmark 3-2. Morocco beat Brazil 2-1. CONMEBOL presents Messi with the Baton of football.
What is that?
I have no clue. And Harry Kane becomes England's all-time record goal scorer. Some of the big stories, obviously, as I said, not all about the football, but just things that have happened. What stood out to you?
I can't believe you, Sarah Pararia. I mean,
I know.
There's one news story that you have failed to mention here.
To be fair,
excuse
this
yourself.
happened late yesterday, so that's the only reason why I hadn't added it.
Oh, is that why? Is it?
Yeah.
All right. We should
I'm
mention
confident.
that Scotland beat Spain in Euro qualifying. Scotland now 6 points in 2 games. Scott McTominay 4 goals. They beat Spain. This is as big a result as I've seen all year. Now, listen, Kazakhstan beating Denmark, that was huge. Massive, right? And Denmark's, imploding in the football sphere in that country. But for Scotland to beat Spain, and I know you're going to defend Spain by saying it wasn't the full strength Spain, and I get that. But this is I don't know how to even put it into words. Scotland haven't beaten Spain since 1984. Spain haven't lost a Euro qualifier in 9 years. Scotland have been the whipping boys for a long time. And to beat Spain, that is incredible. What a performance. And what a position Steve Clark finds his team in 2 games into qualifying.
You know what? Listen, I'm happy. I'm happy for Scotland. I'm happy for Scott McTominay. But there's nothing that tells me that this Spanish side won't finish at the top of their group. They have to play both teams twice. That's 8 matches. They're in second place, 3 points. They got 1 already. There's Cyprus. There's Georgia.
There's Norway.
There's Norway, which is, I think the second time they'll play Scotland, though, they'll beat them. And as I said, or as you said, rather, not a full strength team. Not a lot of call-ups of big stars for De La Fuente. I know he's still, I guess, trying to get, his bearings. This is only his second
game, right?
Yeah, so
How's the Spanish media reacting to this? I mean, they must be going off the wall right now.
Fuming, but that's the thing. There was so much pressure on Luis Enrique, and Spanish media is tough that I'm like, oh, you are in for it. Like for example, they didn't call Unai Simon, Azpilicueta, Jordi Alba, Pau Torres, Ferran Torres, Asensio. Pedri's obviously injured. Gavi didn't play that game. He came on as a sub, or he didn't start. Laporte didn't play. There were several. The team was very.
Was it experimental?
bizarre.
Was that why? Did they take Scotland for granted?
I think maybe yes. I think honestly, truly, they were trying because the lineup they had for their first match was way stronger, and they kind of put all those guys on the bench. All right, we'll give you a break. Put the other guys on the team, and this group of guys is so random and so just bizarre. So I'm not stressing too much.
No, and listen, and you shouldn't listen. I think Spain will be just fine, even though it's a transitional time for them. It's fair to say they'll be just fine. But it's more about Scotland, this result, I think, and the way they played the game. This is a Scotland team who were time wasting. Were really delving into the dark arts. Rodri was complaining post-match about the way Scotland played. Like, come on. Have you watched Spain play?
Well, that's
They're
what I
masters
heard.
at this.
Scotland out Spain.
Yeah, exactly, right? So good
what's
for them. You've got to
going
do it, right? Live
Yeah.
by the sword, die by the sword, Spain.
Yeah.
Sorry. And for this Scotland team, like I said, Steve Clark's a really good manager. There's some good young players coming through there. You have players like Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson who are outstanding players playing at the top of their game. It's a deeper squad now. Most of their players are playing in good leagues around Europe, good leagues. And this, I mentioned some really good youth coming through there as well. Now, yeah, they're missing out on that great goal scorer, but there aren't that many great goal scorers in the game today, really.
I mean, I'd argue to say Spain are missing out on
Spain,
that as well.
Germany, Italy, right?
Yeah.
There aren't that many,
Yeah.
really. So, the days of Ali McCoist and Mo Johnston, Kenny Dalglish, they're long gone. But I remember when Scotland was a relevant force in world football to a certain degree. It's a long time ago. I want to see the Scotland team back. So that was, to me, the biggest story. But listen, like you mentioned, there's some great stories here. Ronaldo's massive, though. what we saw at the World Cup, him being dropped, and I was very critical of Ronaldo and also of Portugal, and maybe it's time to say farewell to this old fella playing his trade of retirement in the Saudi Arabian League. He scores 4 goals in the 2 games. Now listen, they're poor teams. Liechtenstein's just horrendous. Luxembourg isn't much better. But regardless, right, that's not Ronaldo's fault. So he gets called up. He rewards the new manager with that performance in those 2 games. Good for Ronaldo. You heard me say it.
Yeah, what's funny about this is that there were so many things happening over the international break. Obviously, a lot of our attention was on Canada, but then, of course, these stories, Spain, Scotland. And maybe it's just because I'm not paying as much attention to Ronaldo anymore because he's in Saudi Arabia, but he's still breaking records. But I'm finding I'm not even paying attention anymore. Like, I don't know if it's, and I don't think it's just me. That's the thing.
No,
I think
no one
it's,
is.
yeah, it's like, great. You scored, 4 goals over, the past 2 games against Liechtenstein and Luxembourg. But meanwhile, I'm watching Messi, Harry Kane, even Mbappe, the drama around him getting the captaincy. It's bizarre. I really think that move to Saudi Arabia has just made him kind of
irrelevant.
So irrelevant.
But obviously, if he keeps doing it for his country, then
Sure.
every few months he'll pop up and score relevant goals because they are important goals.
Yeah.
But you're right, from a club standpoint, I don't take time each weekend to see how Ronaldo's faring in Saudi Arabia. I don't care. I do watch how Messi's doing in France. I watch how Kane's doing at Tottenham and for England, smashing records. So, and Mbappe, of course, always a huge news figure. We know that. But yeah, so you're right. But Ronaldo knew that. There's 200 million euros a year that says, well, okay, I might lose some Instagram followers perhaps, but I can afford it. It doesn't really bother me too much. So, but to me, that's still good for him. And like I said before, I've been pretty critical of this guy over the past for numerous reasons. But he keeps scoring goals right when they matter, doesn't he?
There you go. And I mean, we can't, as we always say, talk about Ronaldo without talking about Messi. Lionel Messi scores his 102nd goal for Argentina against Curacao on Tuesday night. He also scored against Panama, so he has 802 goals in total.
It was a hat trick last night, wasn't it?
His 57th hat trick.
57th
Just
hat trick.
57.
Well, he deserves the Baton of football.
Yeah,
then, in
so
that case,
to be
whatever
honest,
that is.
this was a bigger story to me only because what is the Baton of football? Irrelevant, but it's the fact that CONMEBOL, all of South America, have given Messi this Baton of football and basically said, they're congratulating him. When you have like the likes of Brazilians, Chileans.
Be honest. How many Chileans, how many Brazilians really want to reward Messi with anything else?
Do you know what? I know a lot of Chileans that actually love Messi. They hate Argentina, but there's so much respect for Messi.
He transcends the team, doesn't he?
That's the thing. You might dislike the nation, you might dislike their team, but you can't not like this guy. And then here we go. So they made a statue for him, and people are saying he won the statue.
What's it made out of? Like cheese?
It looks like take a
cake?
little bite.
It could be a cake, couldn't it? Some of those cake shows are crazy, right?
Oh,
you could
can you imagine?
You could bake yourself a Messi.
Yeah.
It's so much better than the Ronaldo statue.
Well, that's
a
what
few years
everyone's
ago.
saying. Yeah. So, and also Argentina named their training ground for Lionel Messi.
And he's still playing.
And it's just bananas what's going on. So Messi, Ronaldo breaking records, and so is Harry Kane. We spoke about him. Overtook Rooney's record, and he scored a penalty against Italy, which is when he broke that record, and then he scored against Ukraine as well. I mean, it's so strange because I saw a post last night and it was saying, would you rather have Harry Kane's career or Jamie Vardy's?
I saw this.
And I was like, I have to ask James about this because I think I know what the answer is.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And listen, Jamie Vardy's a really good player. We're not saying that, he's a terrible player. He's not. But so what was it? So he's won an FA Cup and a Premier League. Right?
Yeah.
Kane scored all these goals, smashed all these records.
Yeah.
Has won
Not
nothing.
a thing.
Whose career would you rather have? I think trophies are everything. I really do. And the Jimmy Vardy story itself
that's
is
the
incredible
thing as well.
too.
Like him and who he is to Leicester is forever. Like
Isn't Kane as well forever with Spurs?
No, I think so as well. But then you have also Jamie Vardy's won trophies. So it's like it's both like legacy stories, but then I mean I'm not saying one or the other. I was just curious to see what you say because I thought you would say Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, I'm a trophies guy.
Yeah,
I am. Listen, goals are great. I've always been when I had played soccer, not very well, or any sport. I always preferred the assist, or I didn't need the pat on the back.
Yeah.
However, if those rare occasions my teams, which are generally really awful, won something, It was great. It was fantastic. It was wonderful, right? So
Yeah.
I'll take Vardy's career, but that's nothing from I mean, being England's top scorer is pretty special, surpassing Wayne Rooney and that list, Charlton and Gary Lineker, Jimmy Greaves, like great players. What a player. He's really boring. He's not controversial. Hasn't won trophies. And that's why I think a lot of people still put him below even Wayne Rooney, who was incredible, world class, of course, but had a little bit of edge to him. He just does his job. He just goes about his job, just scores goals.
Yeah.
Right? There's
Yeah.
there's no noise around Harry Kane. Maybe he needs a little bit of noise.
Maybe he needs to leave Spurs.
That could be what it is. Trophies will change everything.
Yeah, really quickly, let's talk about Mbappe getting the captaincy at France. Do you feel that Griezmann was kind of
Slighted?
Yeah, I was a bit shocked. I mean, you know what? No, that's a lie. I wasn't shocked because Mbappe gets whatever Mbappe wants.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure if he's the right guy to be a captain of a team. Like, listen, we know how much drama follows him everywhere. We know how he wants to be the center of attention, that he wants to be the guy. And they give it to him. I don't know. It's just, I'm kind of getting tired of this Mbappe narrative. He's such a class player, but the drama that follows him is just exhausting.
Yeah, it is. I also saw him come off the bench in the World Cup and just, change games. With what
Yeah,
he can do.
but that's what I
He's
mean, the
that brilliant.
talent.
And nowadays, Sarah, you know what it is with captaincy. It's about marketing. You can market Mbappe more than Griezmann, who's been such a great servant for his country, plays every single game, has done for many, many years. He's world class, but he's not Mbappe. But who's a better leader in the room? I mean, we don't know that. Deschamps knows that.
Yeah.
But there's lots of leaders, I think, in that room. But so I think it comes down to who can sell the most shirts, who can you put on a big, billboard in the middle of Paris or the middle of Riyadh. Doesn't matter. He's the guy. He's going to become one of the most famous faces in sport, if not already.
Yeah.
I don't think Griezmann will reach that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's quickly give some love to Morocco and Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan beating Denmark with Højbjerg, Kajar, Schmeichel all on the pitch, and Morocco doing the same thing to a Brazil side. Yeah, there was no Neymar, but you got Vinny Jr., Rodrigo.
Morocco's legit, right?
Morocco is, honestly, because I watched that whole game, they are maybe the most exciting team to watch. They always put 100%. They work so hard. And I love seeing the effort. It's never boring with them.
I still remember us, sitting in the homestand studios, room 442. You're talking about the draw. Oh, we got Morocco. No one's talking about Morocco.
I was talking about
Actually,
Morocco.
Okay, you were. Okay, I'll give you that. You were. You're saying, watch out for these guys. And although we didn't dismiss them, no one was, myself and myself, was really focusing on them.
With Belgium and Croatia, it's hard.
Yeah, right, yeah. But it turns out they were one of the big stories of the World Cup, and they're continuing it now.
Yeah.
Right. AFCON is AFCON next year? I think it's next year.
I think it's next year.
Watch
with
out.
Euros.
I don't know who's going to beat these guys.
Oh, no, it has to be them, I think. I mean, I hope it is. I like watching them, like I said. But that's it for the international break, guys. We tried to make it as entertaining as we could. Club football is days away. It's the last day for international break. So we will be back covering all of that juicy club football.